Hi everyone, welcome to Sustainability Live London. My name is Emily Cook. Thank you for joining us, whether it's virtually via Brella or in person from our virtual stage area at Business Design Centre today in London. I'm excited to be joined by two lovely guests with a panel discussion titled Sustainable Green Cloud Approach from Accenture and HPE. Every enterprise will be managing data at some point, whether it be from their own customers, from within the business, or generating new products and services. Therefore, the management of data, where it's created and where it's stored, becomes massively important. This problem statement brings us nicely to the sustainable green cloud and how the Accenture and HPE relationship is addressing this. For this panel session, I am joined by Nitu Kaushal, who is the Managing Director of the Intelligent Edge business across the Europe region at Accenture, covering 63 countries with 20 plus years in tech and telco. Nitu is a strong advocate for sustainability and women in tech, and has also been awarded Top 35 Females Award at Vodafone Group Enterprise, the world's Top 50 Edge Computing Influencers 2019 award for her work in technology by data economy, and nominated Edge Computing Woman of the Year 2022 by Edge Computing World. I'm also joined by Valerie De Fonseca, who is the Senior Sales Director for HPE GreenLake Commercial Business Worldwide. Prior to this role, she led the joint go-to market business and strategy with Accenture at HPO. She has been in the company for over 15 years, leading various leadership sales positions and market development for retail and consumer good industries. So without further ado, please welcome them to the stage. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us. How are we feeling today?
Thanks. Hi, Emily. Thanks for the introduction.
Great to be here and see you guys.
Absolutely. It's really lovely to have you guys join us. I'm excited for today's panel discussion. I think we should really just kick things off, and I'm going to come to you first, Nitu. I want to talk about what is Accenture's take on Green Cloud? What does it mean, and what do you guys do?
It's a really good question, Emily. Thank you very much for opening the floor here. What I would probably like to say is now more than ever, more assets are being connected, more data is being created, therefore more data is being processed, stored, and then analyzed through AI or machine learning. And therein lies the problem, because we need to think about the right data management solutions that we need to build so that they consume the least amount of power, resources, and physical assets in the most sustainable way. So what we're seeing here at Accenture is now more than ever, CEOs are prioritizing the way that their cloud-based approaches are being implemented. And they need to do them faster so that they can digitize their businesses, as well as doing it more thoughtfully with sustainability at the core. Just to give you some examples of what we're seeing across the board, not just in one industry vertical, but just all the way across the board, we're seeing there's been a 24% increase in European data center capacity already. And what we're seeing is there's going to be a further 14% increase next year. And that's, due to the pandemic, it's due to inflation, it's due to recession, it's due to many different things that's happening across the world. And so with that in mind, Accenture's helping our clients as well as doing it ourselves. We're thinking about a green cloud mentality. It's something that we're helping our clients build from a sustainability principles perspective, and building it right into their strategy from the beginning. And so some examples of how we help our clients do exactly that is by helping them work with the right cloud partners that helps them achieve some of their sustainability goals. We're thinking about helping them mapping out their data so that data management is done in the best way, where data needs to be physically stored on premise, stays there, and doesn't need to move to the cloud, and vice versa. And what we're also doing is focusing on data-driven innovation, especially data-driven innovation that reduces carbon emissions. We're thinking about parameters like power and cooling efficiency, hardware efficiency, compute utilization, even sustainable software engineering. So all the way to application development and building in the right core principles there, as well as being able to become carbon-free overall. And in that, we're also introducing ways to measure so that our clients can have that visibility and transparency across the board, and then helping them recycle along the way as well.
Fantastic. And I kind of want to, excuse me, I want to turn this question to Valerie now about what Green Cloud means to HPE and what things you do as a business as well.
Thanks. And actually, I can see a lot of similarities between what Accenture is doing and what we're doing. And maybe let me just set the stage with the critical challenges that we really want to help solve. I know that everyone is aware of those, but I think it's good to just, bring them back. Climate change is really a huge one. Security is also one that we are looking at. Inequality, supply chain disruption. That's something that we had to face a lot, especially in the last 2 years. Shifts in labor markets and the war in Ukraine. So all of that, things that we need to accelerate all of our targets. And I'd like to mention that it's not something new for us. We started 65 years ago around HPE when we're the biggest corporation. And I feel that HPE plays the role of example to follow, being in some cases facilitator or educator towards our customers and partners, as well as around our supply chain. I could have tons of examples, but so one thing that I think is super important, we recently released our Living Progress report, which is our plan for sustainability, meeting the technology demands of the future. And there are three main elements of this report. The first one is really driving a low carbon economy. The second one is investing in people. And the third one is operating with integrity. And all around our corporate purpose, which is advancing the way people live and work. And I'm really proud to share that we accelerated our commitment to net zero from 2050 to 2040. And all of those reasons, because of all those challenges that are really made us realize that, we really need to accelerate that commitment by a decade and more if we can in the future. And it goes without saying that we have a clear roadmap really that supports that new commitment in that report. We set interim targets to 2030. It covers the whole value chain, meaning that it includes also the use of products by our customers on top of transportation and distribution. Also this year, which I think is another important point, we have introduced a new compensation metric that ties a portion of variable pay for the members of our executive committee, VP and above, to our management of carbon emissions across the whole value chain. And holding our leaders responsible for making progress towards our sustainability goals is just another way that we are accelerating our robust sustainability strategy.
Fantastic. And I'm going to come back to you, Valerie, kind of on the point of our problem statement earlier about, where data is stored. Hardware plays a big role in building your cloud infrastructure. And I was wondering what you're doing about sustainability in this area.
So when you look at our footprint in the company, a small digit really is linked to our own operations, buildings, people. And 1/3 is our supply chain when we bring them to the market and also when we take them back when they are end of life. But the biggest part, really nearly 2/3 of our climate impact, is when our customers use our technology. Our customers specifically look out for our energy efficient IT solutions and consumption based as a service model. That means that to get to net zero for HPE, we need to help our customers to use our technology more efficiently. And we are spending a lot on innovation. Let me give you an example. We created the most powerful supercomputer dedicated to climate research. We also clocked more than 2 million patient visits at HPE's COVID-19 vaccination centers and labs across India. Last but not least, I'd like also to talk a bit more about about our HPE circular economy portfolio through HPE Financial Services, and Nitu is pretty much aware of this one because they're using it. We help our customers to achieve financial vitality and properly manage legacy assets. What does it mean? It includes that our asset recovery services include collecting, inventorying, transporting, sorting, and processing all the IT products for recycling and marketing. And if I take the example, because Accenture is really using that in 1 year, the first year that they used that service from HPE, HPE processed for Accenture about 4 million assets, remarketing 89%, and recycling the remaining 11%. We have 2 HPE technology renewal centers. That's how we call them. One is in Andover in the US, and the other in Scotland. And that's where we use them to extend the life of technology whenever possible.
Fantastic. And we'll talk a little bit about that partnership later on. But a topic we've kind of been talking about a lot at Sustainability Live is kind of the changing world of consumer needs. And I wondered, Valerie, if you can tell us about how businesses should make sure that they only install what they need. And maybe you could go into a little bit about HPE GreenLake as a service model here.
Yeah, we really help our customers right size the technology they need, and we help them manage it from edge to cloud instead of buying assets and over provisioning. You know that 30% of large data center servers are unused. That means a waste of $30 billion annually. And really, when we look at how we're bringing, this is where I come from, the BU I'm in, HPE GreenLake Cloud Services. So we really try to help address the key causes of inefficiencies while helping our customers to execute an efficient hybrid multi-cloud delivery model, because this is where they're going. And that helps really deliver many of the sustainability benefits that we commonly associate with the public cloud, such as decreasing energy use, dematerialized infrastructure. But using the as a service consumption model helps really our customers get exactly the same experience with the benefits of the sustainability here. So HPE modeling indicates that the customers that are transitioning from a traditional CapEx model to an as a service like HPE GreenLake model can achieve more than 30% reduction in energy costs. One that is obvious is because we help them, reduce that over or provisioning and all the related and associated costs to over provisioning, name it hosting, cooling, space, and everything. That's really where we can really help our customers. And because this is an as a service approach, we also connect the dots with our whole portfolio, connecting with the asset life cycle for customers that I described just earlier under the industry leading circular economy programs.
Fantastic. And I kind of want to shift the conversation slightly, but bring in this idea of kind of partnership that we have here. So Nitu, I'm going to shoot this question at you. I wondered if you could tell us how this partnership works together to reduce carbon emissions. Oh, it looks like you're on mute, Nitu. Sorry.
Thank you, Emily. I was going to say the partnership between Accenture and HPE is a really special one. We do a lot in the space of sustainability. And, as a technology consulting firm, we can't enable our clients to be sustainable and advise them how to be sustainable if we're not working towards those goals ourselves. So we need to be able to understand how our clients are going to work by operating with the same methodologies ourselves. And just like how Valerie was alluding to earlier around some of the things we're working on, I think it's a really special thing where we've been working together for years. We've been building the right sustainable principles across our businesses, and therefore we're able to offer these to our clients. So essentially, what does this mean? Across the device lifecycle management arena, what we do is we give these assets, IT assets, to HPE. They refurbish them. They, taking the useful components out of these different IT assets. They're helping us recover them. So they're taking all of the different valuable materials from them that needs to be restored, and they're helping us reposition them. So either we're offering them to a secondary market, or we're replacing them where they need to be replaced across our network. So what this means is that as a business, we get to become more streamlined across all of our global assets. We're able to track them fully. And what this also then means is we introduce a layer of security as well, because we know what's happening to our assets and we know what's happening to the repositioning of them. So we de-risk security in that regard as well. And it feels really good because we're also going to be repurposing in the way for good. And what that means is we're also able to then measure and track our ability to be sustainable overall as a business, right the way into our supply chain. Because, we also have suppliers who won't want to work with Accenture if we're not sustainable ourselves and not meeting some of these goals. So what this therefore means is we can offer these capabilities and best methods of working to our clients, who then also look to adopt the same practices. I see this to be a really, really strong area for us, because with cloud, there is a component of hardware, but what we're doing at Accenture is also extending that right the way up to the software level at the application, so that we build sustainability into the way we code applications. So we're doing the best we can all the way through the stack, from right the way from the edge to the cloud.
Fantastic. And kind of before we jump into a bit of a Q&A session, I wondered if you could kind of give us a bit of a wrap up of what are the key things that businesses should think about when developing their green cloud strategies. So I'll send this to you, Nitu.
I would probably say there's a couple of things that need to be thought about here when thinking about green cloud. I would say that strategy is really important. When building those business models, they are going to be changing because of the wider economic backdrop. So as part of that, I'd be thinking about where does data need to be stored, managed, and build that sustainability principles at the core. The second point I would say is measure. Measure is a key word for me, because whatever you deploy, whatever exists between the edge to the cloud, building those methods to measure so that you can manage your internal stakeholders as your business evolves and changes. But then also what you're able to do is hold your own suppliers accountable, so that you're building that sustainability right the way through your supply chain. And then what I would also say is to act. So take green measures where you possibly can, manage those assets. There's a lot of recycling available. There's better AI deployment. So, with the advent of cloud evolving, the amount of machine learning and AI capabilities are increasing. So making sure that the place that this data is going to be analyzed and some of these real in time actions are going to be then processed is happening at the right places, so that overall you're reducing your carbon emissions across your cloud infrastructure.
And same question to you, Valerie. What key things should business think about when they're developing their green cloud strategies?
I actually agree with everything that Nitu said, and I would maybe add a bit on AI, because that use of data AI to make the right decisions and accelerate the sustainability goals is really key. I mean, doing good for sustainability also means that you can do well as a business, and a big part of carbon reduction will come from new technologies. Maybe if you allow me, I will just share another example of things that we are doing at HPE and linked to the, what we're doing around measurement, help our customers there. Continuous optimization in real time, thanks to the use of AI, is key to accelerate those green cloud strategy. And in June, back in June at HPE Discover, which is our annual customer event, we launched a pilot. It's just a pilot right now, but I'm really excited because it's a sustainability dashboard where you can have a view of your global IT energy usage by megawatts per month, and your carbon footprint also per tons and per months. We've got a bunch of information, utilization rate, efficiency, cost, carbon emissions, performance. And if you get that, if you think that you can get all of that information at global scale for everything, you can really make some smart decisions and understand where you can act, to Nitu's point, and really move the needle and make some changes to really have an impact right now. And I think that as Nitu mentioned, having that information, using the data and acting on it as soon as you really understand where you can really have an impact is key. And it goes back again to Nitu's first point, which was, how do you build the right hybrid cloud, multi-cloud strategy from edge to cloud? Yes, I mean, if you look, because we know that many companies are already looking at this, the art equipment, how we can improve energy usage through really the equipment. That's correct, but you also need to back it up if you move towards an eco-friendly data center, and you need to not take only things in silo and really understand how everything is connected and have a real impact on your sustainability goals.
Fantastic. And I think that kind of wraps up the panel discussion. So thank you both for your insightful comments on green cloud technologies. And obviously, thank you guys for the work that you are doing in both of your fields. It is truly great. We have some questions coming in just kind of off the back of this huge topic that we can't fit into half an hour, I'm sure. But kind of just wanted to kick us off now into the Q&A to kind of talk about maybe some of the challenges and how you handle risk management when it comes to achieving these green cloud goals. So Nitu, I wasn't sure if this was something you'd be happy to answer.
Well, when it comes to managing risk, I would say that it goes all the way down to the assets that are actually being connected and how they're being protected, and then also thinking about where they are, so the physical proximity of the matter, and then what tools are then being used to check their visibility, their presence, their status. All of these things matter. So from a sustainability perspective, what we're also thinking about is how do you get to reduce the amount of hardware overall? So with for example, we touched very briefly on artificial intelligence. Do you really need a brand new server? Do you really need to introduce a security risk by introducing a brand new piece of hardware into your network that may not be needed? Could you do more with your existing infrastructure? Is that possible? So I think security comes in as probably a primary thinking, but then also thinking about being efficient in terms of your network design, I think is also a very important part of that. So I see security and sustainability to be two very similar things, in the fact that whenever we're thinking about our cloud architectural designs for our clients, they're built in as core principles right from day one. And then that way, whatever we design, whatever we build in for our customers as capabilities will then be introduced at the right time. So whether that be introduction of new CPUs or GPUs, it might be new servers, it might be new software, all the way up to the end client who's going to be consuming these services through the supply chain.
Fantastic. And a question for you, Valerie. I think you touched earlier on supply chains. And of course, over the past couple of years, there have been, countless interruptions and disruptions to those. But we also mentioned bringing forward that sustainability goal from 2050 to 2040. I wonder if you could touch a little bit on how those disruptions kind of affected business, but yet we still managed to reach some goals.
Yeah, we're right. We still have those disruptions and that there. And maybe I can share with you, how we really having an impact there and trying to still reach our sustainability goals despite that. Actually, a few years ago, we helped found what is called the Responsible Business Alliance, and it really started around supply chain. We had realized we were auditing our factories in our supply chain, and we realized that they were building product for other technology companies, which was okay. And when we were looking at how they were building our own products, that were following everything, all of our guidelines, there were no problem. But just the next production line, they were just not following the same. And we said, hey, why that? And they said, well, because the other technology companies do not have the same guidelines, and they are looking, and we realized that they were building other products, not protecting workers adequately, and in some other nice. So that's how we decided really to start bringing some technology companies together, and it's called now the Responsible Business Alliance. And I think that's the typical example where we all need to be looking in the same direction and making some bold moves also, and making those decisions to really say, hey, maybe it might not be perfect, but we need to keep up with those goals, and it cannot be only us. It needs to be really the whole technology ecosystem that needs to live in this direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the kind of a key element of the conference today is all about partnership and collaboration, because obviously this is not a journey that anyone is going to do alone. So it's great to see this kind of partnership flourish and be able to have this conversation today. Nitu, I wondered if you could kind of share some thoughts and comments about the importance of partnership and having these discussions and bringing these type of topics to the spotlight.
Thank you, Emily. Guys, it's really simple for me. I do not see our clients wanting to work with us if we're not sustainable ourselves. And I think that needs to be permeating its way through our partners, our ecosystem, and every single business that we work with. We have to care about that. Our clients are also held accountable for their sustainability goals and their carbon emissions. So we need to be very transparent. So I would say that when it comes to partnership, having that transparency at the beginning around what it is that we want to achieve and how can we build something together that could even be more powerful is the way to go for us. And that's what I see here with our partnership with HPE. We've been able to build something really credible based on our own personal experience. And I'm really looking forward to how this partnership evolves, and also how we get to enable our clients to be much more sustainable going forwards and have that transparency across their supply chain that they desperately need.
Fantastic. And Valerie, any further comments on that?
I love what she said, and that's exactly what we think. And the fact that Accenture themselves are just a living example of what you need to do to get to that sustainability goal is just the best example. And as I mentioned earlier, 2/3 of our climate impact is about the use of our technology by our customers and partners. There's no other way to get there. We need to work as a team. We need to work as partners and go in this direction, as I mentioned. So that's the perfect example of how we do that, because Accenture is not only using those services, they're integrating them, but they're going to the next level with their own services and bringing that to the customers, to their own customers, so they understand, what's the path towards that goal. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really fantastic point to end on. Obviously, collaboration, this partnership is absolutely essential to reaching sustainability goals, especially with the green cloud technologies. So I just want to extend a huge thank you to you both. This has been a fascinating panel discussion, and I really enjoyed the Q&A. So thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Emily. Thanks,
Thank
Nitu.
you.
Really had a good time in this discussion. Thanks a lot.
Fantastic. And thank you everyone for watching. We hope you really enjoyed that. I know that I did. Please enjoy the rest of your time with us at Sustainability Live London and don't go anywhere.